Alright, hey guys. So today I'm going to be reading Yu-Gi-Oh! Hot takes that I found on the internet and responding or giving my take on many of them. So this all comes from this Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitter account called Yu-Gi-Oh! Anonymous, where you can submit, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! Hot takes and it just tweets them out. And there's like plenty that go out every day. And yeah. So I thought this would be kind of entertaining. A lot of people like hearing my opinions on these things, so figure I will do it. And of course, I'm just going to go through many of these, and if you guys have like, anything that sparks discussion, you guys can talk about it in the comments. So, we're going to start here with they should make a modern field spell for Cyber Dragons. I promise I can be trusted with a Cyber Dragon field spell, this person says. Uh, yes, thumbs up. I agree. I think I would love to see a Cyber Dragon field spell. Cyber Dragons could certainly use a little bit more support, and I'm not going to complain about that. I'm a Cyber Dragon player, so whatever. Okay, not that hot of a take, though. Genuinely insane to me that dudes will have no shame in using playmats or accessories that feature underage anime girls and half naked, that are half naked and no one will bat an eye. Yeah, this is something that I've never really been a big fan of in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, or like just the card game community. People like to use like these mats and sleeves and deck boxes that are just like, you know, lewd waifus. It's not my cup of tea. I don't find it really amusing or cute. You're going to a card shop, so I mean, like, there could be kids there, and just even if there aren't, like, I still think that it's not really a thing that you should be like showing in public. I think that it's fine to like have them, I guess, in like the privacy of your own home, or maybe when you're just playing with your friends and everybody kind of gets it. But other than that, I'm not a big fan of them either. So I agree with this take. Gets a like. It's also gets a like. All right, most people who complain about new summoning mechanics have never even tried them. If you dislike Xyz because they're too complicated, then you don't even know what you're talking about. This is an interesting one. So I think with stuff like this, it's kind of like I do think that it is not fair to just sort of assume a mechanic is stupid or too hard or whatever without actually trying it out. I certainly with Xyz, this example is like certainly right. I mean, Xyz monsters and synchros aren't like too bad. I do get why people are turned off by Pendulum and Link monsters. I don't think it's necessarily that they're complicated, although they can be, I guess, if you hadn't seen them before. But maybe more so just how much they can kind of warp the game around them. And I think that that might cause somebody to dislike them and sort of claim, well, they're too complicated. But maybe what they really mean is just that they do too much or they like break the existing mold in a way. So I see what this person's saying, but I don't think that it's maybe as cut and dry as this. Okay, next. Reminder that Dimensional Barrier is an extremely anti-game card that should have never been printed. Um, I mean, this is a harsh way of putting it. Not the biggest fan of Dimensional Barrier, although I think that it's at the time of its printing was not that bad of a card. I think that today, where the game has gotten so much faster, it's a lot harder to like be okay with a card that just sort of says like you can't do something. It certainly does leave like some it sort of encourages players to have like different summoning mechanics and stuff built into their deck. But if you're playing an archetype that can only, Xyz summon or only fusion summon or whatever, then yeah, this card is pretty rude. So I mostly agree with this, but I don't think it should necessarily be banned or anything. I heard people say it though. Someone says, I wish Star Yuya was at 1. There's not a single list of running it at more than 1 that isn't trying to do some degenerate deep draw FTK. What are other non-meta relevant cards that you wish were on the list and why? Okay, so as far as this goes, I haven't even seen people running Star Yuya these days. I mean, I'm not like super up to date on like the hyper niche FTK things, so I don't know like how obnoxious or consistent those are. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Sorry right now. I always thought it was kind of funny how it just sort of like disappeared from the game without really ever needing to hit a ban list. That was interesting. Um, let's see. There's something about Sky Striker support. Okay, that's not really a take. I wish Yu-Gi-Oh players would actually look at card prices and deck lists before making certain takes on whether cards or a deck is expensive or not. A lot of you guys are really embarrassing yourselves. I don't really know what this person's saying here. I mean, I guess you would have had to have looked at the card prices and the deck lists to know if the deck was expensive. So, I mean, I feel like people would have done that, but maybe this person's assuming, like, or maybe this person's seen people claim a deck's expensive when it's not actually expensive or claiming it, like, vice versa. I don't really get what they're saying here. I mean, I get what they're saying. I don't know if it, I haven't seen this personally myself, so I guess no opinion. Okay. At this point, it seems like the Yu-Gi-Oh community is pretty filled with all forms of content. But what do you think is missing from the Yu-Gi-Oh content you'd like to see more of? Yeah, this person's right. I mean, I don't think it's really a hot take, but I'm a content creator, so I guess I can weigh in. I do think that, like, there's pretty much all, if you want any type of Yu-Gi-Oh content, casual, competitive, anime stuff, fun, collector-y stuff, there's pretty much something for everyone. But I feel like we don't have a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh history. I think that we could use a little bit more Yu-Gi-Oh history. I feel like I've seen who is it? Mega Capital G kind of covers it a little bit, like sort of Yu-Gi-Oh history stories and stuff. But yeah, I think that'd be nice to see. Maybe even some like documentaries or mini docs around like the community, different aspects of it. But that's like high effort content that I think like would take like months and months to make, and just like probably doesn't really fit the form factor of YugiTube and modern internet content. Okay, Gradle should get new support. The little gray dudes got done dirty in the 2020 Create a Card poll. Yeah, sure. I mean, whatever. You can give them more support. Kind of forgot they existed. This is just about the takes themselves. Let's see if I can get to more. All right. Wouldn't it be pretty funny if Konami released an actual meta reptile deck, but the way it plays makes it so you don't want to use Snake Rain? Yeah, that'd be funny. It gets a like from me. Why does nobody play Breakthrough Skill anymore? That's not really a take, but I mean, it's kind of just been power crept. Here's one. The way TCG players talk about Max C makes it very obvious that they do not consider the OCG a real competitive format. I mean, I guess like maybe what this person is saying is that like they think that it's like people who say Maxi shouldn't come back. I'm assuming that they're maybe disagreeing with that because Maxi exists in the OCG and it's real and it's competitive and it exists and people are, like fine with it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like it's just two different games. People can only really speak on what they are like exposed to. So I don't think you should really expect TCG based players to really like care much about whether or not the OCG exists. Not saying it's like right or wrong to do so, but yeah. Um, let's see if I can find anything else. Unpopular opinion, but I actually enjoyed the Ludwig tournament. It was pretty entertaining and reminded me of Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! The Zodiac game was painful though. Yeah, so I watched a bit of the Ludwig tournament. For those who don't know, Ludwig, big streamer, he did like a tournament with a few other major streamers, and they were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And while it was very entertaining and got a lot of really great viewership, a lot of more like core Yu-Gi-Oh! Community people, I think, were a little upset with it because there were so many misplays, and obviously people playing aren't like regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. They were just kind of like screwing around and messing up a lot of stuff and misplaying. And I do think that people sometimes get a little bit too. I like this take, by the way. People get a little bit too like into their Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes and forget that like the average person really has no clue what's going on in Yu-Gi-Oh, and they're just sort of playing cards and having fun. And that's a totally valid way to enjoy things. In fact, we should probably be thankful, in my opinion, if like someone like Ludwig is like playing Yu-Gi-Oh and like bringing more attention to just the community and everything. So while I get that it's like annoying to watch people misplay, you have to remember that like they just exist outside of the super core like Yu-Gi-Oh obsessed bubble. So yeah. All right. Well, anyways, that's pretty much it for today's vid. I just wanted to take a look at some hot takes. I want to hear what you guys think of the takes that I gave my takes on. You can give your takes in the comments. Lots of takes going on, lots of hot takes. It's so hot, I can barely breathe. All right. It's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one later.